like, you see how you stole that thing, you're going to hell. You see how you said that to tell, you're going to hell. And like we were like, you're going to hell, brother. Hi, welcome back to another episode of Young and Adventist. I will be your host today. My name is Tanya, and I'm joined by two very familiar faces, but I will allow them to introduce themselves before we get into the topic of the day. Do I start with my...
Yeah, you can go
Right,
ahead.
yep.
My name is Martin Mabera. I'm happy to be here.
Great to have you, Martin. Next.
My name is Allan. I'm also happy to be here.
Lovely. So, a bit of context that maybe you all don't have about this podcast is we're all friends from church and we're all part of the same Bible study group. And this started about, how long ago did the Bible study group start? Because I joined last year, but you guys had already started. When did it start?
I think it was 2024 late.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when did the idea for the podcast come up? And who came up with it?
Just Travis, if I'm not wrong.
Travis,
Yeah. It came after after Bible study. After we'd been doing Bible study for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then Travis was like, we should probably do a podcast where we meet and talk about our experiences as Adventists and talk about the Word of God. So yeah, we attribute all of this to the proponents, Travis Mogoba.
Travis is behind the camera right now geeking that he's getting all this credit. And that's actually what prompted my idea for today's topic, community. Was thinking about how this group came to be, that it started with a group of friends who were studying the Word together and decided that, look, let's share this with the world. And I think that shows just how powerful community is. And that's what we will be chatting about. So what drew you guys to the group when you joined? Were you guys already just friends, or how did you even come to know the people in the group?
Okay, for me personally, I was one of those people who used to come to church at 11, then leave at 1. So I've been coming to Karengata since 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but on and off. Yeah, so we used to come to Karengata with my mom. 11, when it gets to 1, I remember when the new sanctuary was not yet built. There was the old sanctuary. So if you come late, you sit at the Amo tents. So we always sat at the Amo tents. We didn't even have time to interact with people. Yeah, maybe a few times. On occasion, we'd come in early. Then you see a few familiar faces, but we never used to interact with them. But then, during COVID, there was this forum. Can I say a forum? It was an online forum for ambassadors, Karengata ambassadors on Instagram. They used to share. They used to have trivias I think it was every Tuesday. So then they used to have like one person who does an item. Either they talk about the word, or if someone knows how to play an instrument, they play an instrument. And I found that being good. It was intriguing. So I used to join, listen to them, and then like I got to know Kina Faith. I think you guys have seen Faith in the previous episodes.
Yeah.
Bobby, Melvin, and that's how we got to like cultivate the community from there. So it was that online presence. If it was not for that, it's still be coming at 11 and leaving at 1. Yeah.
For you, Allan?
So for me, I think that what was the question again?
The question was, how did you end up joining like the Bible study group?
Oh,
Because I feel like that was the root of how we even came to be as like a pod right now. So at what point did you join the Bible study group? What was it like before? Well, what were you doing in Karengata before you met this group of people?
Yeah. So I'll start with the background. I think the first time I was ever in Karengata was Amos Sabbath 2009. But I was just like Martin. If I ever pop up, it's because I was little. It's maybe because of an adult. I've come to Karengata. But now in my adult life, I was invited by someone who was in Karengata. It was Kwame. Remember Kwame? Kwame invited me, and I got the warm community. Everyone was just welcome. Everyone was very warm. The first people that I interacted with, Akina Olivia, Akina Woody, Akina, a lot of people, Magoma, Lumumba, a lot of people. Everyone was just like, you need to be coming, we have football, we have this, there's a lot of activity, even Pastor Willis, etc. And I just found myself like already deeply immersed, And then there was camp coming up, because that was the Diani camp. I think that was, in 2018 now. And we went for camp. A lot of funny stories happened. So we started now becoming friends with people. So Martin said something about now the way we had the Instagram takeovers in 2020 during COVID. Those things were fun. And even playing Among Us during the nights. Killing people's avatars, not people's avatars in the reactor chamber there. It was very fun. We used to play. A blessing were there, everything. And then after that now, because now we used to also share a word before we play, because there was a Zoom meeting.
Then you go and kill each other after sharing the word.
Then we do that after sharing the word. So the Zoom meeting never used to end. We just told people there is games afterwards if you'd like to stay. So if you'd like to drop off, the meeting has stopped here. So we start chatting and bantering there. So after now that because we used to cook during those sessions, it was when now we started becoming friends with a lot of people. Kina Macau, Nini. Then now after that we started. I was invited to the
Bible study.
Yes, by Faith. Who she knew that I know 2-3 things about the Bible, and I could share, and I could also learn. So from there the rest is history.
Love it. So it started with friendship. If I can think back to me and how did I end up in the Bible study group, for one, I think I was those people who are like, I don't need church, like my relationship with God, I can like pursue God on my own. And then I started to realize that like, there's times I'll like read the word and I haven't deeped what I've read, and I'm like, okay, who do I ask? So sometimes you'll ask your folks, sometimes you'll go online, find like a sermon or something. But I realized very quickly, okay, I need community. And that's when I started coming to church. So it started with like ambassadors. I'd try to come in the mornings, but I am not a morning person. So Sabbath school was an on and off thing for me. And then how did I get into the Bible study group? I think I knew Travis, I knew Woody. I don't even know. I think you all were going to do Bible study, and that's one thing about the group is like if they catch you just gallivanting around and they're about to sit down and do Bible study, they will grab you, come and sit here. And so I sat with you all not knowing what I was like sitting down for. But I think after the first session, I was like, okay, this is really good. Like, I think, what were you all reading? It was Jonah. I joined you guys when you were doing Jonah 1, 2, 3. And I was like, wow, I would have never thought of Jonah from that angle had I not sat with you all and like and had all those perspectives and different takes from people with such, I guess, theological depth, or people who've taken the time to actually interact with the word. And I think that's when I realized, okay, this is what I was looking for. Like when I was coming to church, I was looking for it in ambassadors, I was looking for it in like, the sermons and whatever, but this very like targeted group is what I needed. And I think for me, what led me or drew me to the group was that pursuit for growth, and growth in tandem with other people. right? Thinking of growth, or speaking of growth, how do you guys feel like this group or community in general, Christian community, has helped you grow as a Christian, as a young Christian?
Personally, I can see the examples we emulate in our personal lives. As we've gotten to interact with this group, I can see how different people live their lives. And like, to some extent, it also shapes how I live my own life. You know, number one is, how important is the Sabbath to you? We can see how people take the matter of the Sabbath
Seriously.
So in that essence, like me as a person, I also try to follow along those steps, like taking the Sabbath as a serious thing. And another thing that I can say is in times when like, how can I put it? When I'm upset, like when I'm having challenges in life, I can be able to reach out to some of my friends.
Yeah.
And like tell them this is what's going on. I'm going through a rough patch. Then we talk it out. Or like if I am at crossroads, if I have a particular decision to choose from, and like I don't know what to do, I do have a lot of wisdom to tap from, because most of my friends, like, the advice they give is so good, it's top tier. Sometimes I even say, yeah, I should pay you for this. I'd say it shouldn't be free.
There should be a paywall.
It shouldn't be free. So in that essence, I do think that this community has helped me grow as a person. Like, the wise counsel that I get, the warmth and camaraderie that I get from the group, and like always being there, you know, we do things together, there's love. Yeah, we can visit each other, we can celebrate each other's graduations. You know, it's like a family, it's more than friendship.
That's deep. It's more than friendship. I saw a TikTok this week actually where this hun was like, there's a difference between friendship and community. And then she was speaking about something you mentioned, vulnerability. Like, and I was like, is there really a difference? Like, shouldn't you be vulnerable with your friends, or is not, you can't be vulnerable with all your friends? Or is that really the difference between community and friendship?
Well, I would say like if you're being authentic with your friends, that's where it's at, you know.
Yeah.
If you're not being it, well, then why are you friends, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, so
it should be one and the same, essentially.
Same
if you truly are friends, then it should be one and the same. Yeah.
Because showing parts of you, but it was something that I used to do before a lot, because, you know, there's maybe you could judge yourself, or you could just say, it doesn't really matter me showing them this or that. But I tended to reach the conclusion that iron sharpens iron, and iron cannot sharpen iron if it's not corrosing each other, you know. Sometimes you and your friends will rub shoulders or something because of something stupid that you did or that they did. And just like Martin has said, your friends are the ones who will tell you something that is top tier, because it is top tier because you had not thought about that thing in that perspective, you know. They give you perspective, and they have to give you perspective, and they know the full picture of things, you know. And yeah, the community for me, the way now to answer you, has showed up to me like in more than a lot of ways, but I really appreciate. So when you just lay down your things bare, well, you don't know how people react or something. But I'm just thankful to God that I found an amazing community around me. That people just can just do what, can just touch you, you know.
Yeah.
And it's very, I feel like you can hear the excitement that's building inside. Yeah, that sometimes you can just do something and then you're so touched and then things are not heavy anymore. Or you can celebrate with them their birthdays, their graduations, their leaving, their jobs, their whatever, and then you're like, I'm just happy for you.
Yeah.
I'm just happy, like furaya, So yeah, community is very important when you're authentic with them.
Yeah, true.
Can I say something? There's a question you asked about vulnerability. Can you remind me?
Vulnerability. That the difference between, like, is there a difference between friendship and community? Basically, some people hold the sentiment that community is a group of people you can be not just friendly and like happy and social with, but you can also be vulnerable with, and they hold that space for you. And that's the difference between friendship and but I was like, isn't a true friend going to do all those things? So shouldn't your true friends, or shouldn't your friends be your community technically? I mean, friends, family, whoever, but like, why would you keep friends who can't do that?
Okay, I think, yeah.
Or is it the whole tiers of friendship as an adult thing?
Yeah, okay. I also, that's actually a thing. I do partly subscribe to that we can compartmentalize our friendship. We can compartmentalize and say, these friends are friends from church, these friends are friends from uni, these are my friends from primary school, these are my friends from work. But there's always gonna be that group of friends that you're so deep, like you're so in tune with. Let's say you get a meme online. Yeah? Who are you gonna send the meme to first? Because I'm sure, like us, when we get memes online, we send it to the group.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say you get some news online, you send it to the group. You could have sent it to your friends from high school or like friends from work. But you choose to send like to this specific group of friends. So I can say, as much as there are ties to friendship, it also goes along with the level, like ties to friendship goes along with the levels of vulnerability, just as you said. Like the more you're vulnerable to a certain subset of people, the more you're likely to be more friends with them.
True.
Yeah.
Do you think it's hard to find community? Like, I feel like we've made it seem like it was such a... Yes, we clicked. I feel like we clicked, and I feel like this group is very open. But have you found it hard to build that community? Personally, like you mentioned, you used to come to the church from like what year?
2011.
2011. I joined 2012. I feel like I had a lot of surface level, very like happy Sabbath type of friendships before I met you guys. And there's that sense of beyond just like growth, beyond just, iron sharpening iron. There's also that feeling of belonging, Like I know I'm coming to church and there's a set of people who will be happy to see me and actually care to know how I am. And I care to know how they are. I mean, I care about everyone. I'm a lover of all people. But it's nice to know that you have a set of people who you belong to. And I remember before that, I think church to me, because it's so big, our church is massive. Like Karangat has really grown. And I feel like it's really, I don't know, it was hard. For me growing up, it was hard finding that subset of people. Did you guys ever feel that struggle? And do you feel like sometimes church can be too cliquey?
Wow, the question has been directed to me.
I'm looking you dead in the eye.
It's fine. The problem with asking somebody like me that question is, I'm a social butterfly. People know me. I can just go anywhere and we talk with anyone, But I've felt people also share some sentiment around that and be like, sometimes they're not feeling that community type of thing. But I would go further and say that, well, church is more of a hospital, and less of a museum of sinners and more of a hospital for sinners. So what you do instead of instead of now saying that the people in church are, you wear your nursing gloves and get to work. Yeah, because this is God's vineyard. And yes, in as much as yes, we can find the cliques and everything, it could be easy to grow the community when also somebody starts reaching out or something, you know, when it's initiated by one party. Sometimes what I've found in my experience is that sometimes all it takes for you to be homies with somebody is just reaching out, you know. So there's a verse in Proverbs, I forget the exact verse and the wording, but it usually says something about there's a friend that sticks closer than a brother, you know. So I would say the community doesn't need to be big. It actually needs to be just small, compact,
Meaningful.
just meaningful.
Yeah.
And from there it could be good.
Do you all feel like people perceive us as a clique?
Us?
Yeah. Do you think people perceive us as a clique?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't personally think so, because everyone interacts with everyone. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like we're really warm.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we're really warm, and we are anti-clique
Eh,
as is. Like that's how I got to know them, because they're so anti-clique. Like you can imagine you're just walking around and someone says, "Hey, you come here. You're not studying, but come sit down and study it." Yeah. And so I really like that, and I feel like what you said about reaching out is where it begins, and that's how you break that like cliquey, you know, cliquey feeling of not belonging, especially in a place like church. Like damn, that
Yeah. Okay. You were
No.
in the middle of it. Oh,
no,
I can go ahead.
continue.
Oh, so I think I was telling you today in the morning. Yesterday we had Nature Sabbath, and I was telling you that it's really important for the church currently, to have opportunities for youth to interact with each other. And I was saying, at least once a quarter, as a church, we should have GYD. That's Global Youth Day and Nature Sabbath.
Well, Global Youth Day every quarter, like a youth day.
Like like where you go out to like children's homes, like as youth, and help out. Like at least once. It's usually once a year, but I strongly feel like it should be once a quarter. As much as we're reaching out to the community, even us personally, we get to interact with each other in a way we wouldn't have interacted in church. I do feel that in church currently there isn't much opportunity for youth to interact. There isn't much opportunity for youth to interact, and basing on different people's personality types, you know, for an introvert, reaching out might be hard. To reach out to like other people, they might feel left out, but unless us, we reach out to them.
Yeah. So creating those spaces.
Creating those spaces. For an example, yesterday when we were in Nature Sabbath, we were grouped into teams, and I got to interact with someone who I've been seeing in church. We were in the same team with someone who I've been seeing in church for the last like 2 years.
Crazy. And you've never spoken to them?
I've never. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, but we're in the same team. Our team won by day. And yeah, like it was good. It was a good experience, and like more when we go to church next Sabbath, like I'd be inclined to say hello, how are you? How have you been doing? Yeah, we have Bible study. You know, it's actually easier. Yeah.
So more spaces.
Yeah, more spaces for us to like be around each other, especially in a setting that is not church.
I'm part of I was part of the Ambassador Council before I quit, but I don't know if that was a necessary detail.
Why are you going in?
But yeah, when we were thinking about like some of the issues we have with like something we've seen among the young people, it's like, I don't know whether it's an effect of COVID and people getting used to being shelled, or if it's the effect of like the whole, you know, church being such a massive space that people struggle to create those linkages. But we had tried, that's part of one of the like main things the ambassador group is trying to do, is build those spaces for the like teenagers and young people to interact away from, you know, this massive sea of the actual church community. And it's really helped, like having them do game days, having them go for bowling, having them, like, I feel like young people enjoy activities, and then it also helps break the ice. And I think that's a very big part of community building, or rather having communities. Sometimes you have to go out and build community, like you said, the reaching out. I think I had this thing where I never used to reach out, even with friends. I really am not the kind of person to like reach out, text, hey Allan, how are you? Hey Martin, how are you? And I remember last year I hosted my birthday here in the house, and then I had my graduation. 3 of my high school girlfriends attended. These are babes I have known since, for the last, how many years? 8+ years. They pulled me aside here in this living room. They have been to my house so many times, but they pulled me aside and were like, this is the first time you've ever like invited us to celebrate you. And I was like, that's so crazy. I've known you for 8 years. I have never made the effort to invite you. It's those ones of you show up at my place, or maybe you're in the area and you tell me you're in the area, but I've never been the kind of person to be intentional about like bringing people in. And at different points in my life, I wondered, why was I feeling lonely? You know, despite knowing I have friends, despite knowing I have people who I care about and care about me. And it's, I think, very important to take that step to reach out and build that community yourself. You've mentioned reaching out, creating spaces. What other, are there other ways really to create community? Like, what would you tell someone who is struggling to build community? Just put yourself out there, or what would you tell them?
Okay, so I'll start by saying Martin's team won because they had the pasta. It was rigged. But anyway, so what it takes to build community. It would take, I don't want to say sugar spice, anyway, it just takes like something simple. Well, in as much as, yes, you might know your profile as a person, maybe you're an introvert. As an introvert, yes, it's hard to maybe come out of your cocoon and start saying, hey, this is what I would like. Maybe it's awkward, I don't know. So I would say everyone could be facing like that social anxiety. But when on days that you are feeling on your mojo or something, it's okay to just interact with guys. You know, for yesterday also, there have been people guilty as well, like Martin. I've been just singing in church, but I had to like say, hey Niaje, my name is Allan, what's your name? This is so and so, this is so and so. Oh, for real? You come to Karengata? Yes. I've never seen you. I've seen you around. You are flying and flying. Oh yeah, that's me. We interact kidogo, you know, even in your team. So part of the ways that we can do this is individually. You can reach out to maybe the leaders, because maybe if talking to people is hard, maybe the leaders can integrate you into the bigger group as well by organizing the activities. You see, that is one of the things that I can think of on the fly right now, because
What can you think of?
So I think creating a community is hell-bent on a person's personality. Like, it's easier for someone who's an extrovert to reach out or to be part of something than it is for someone who's introverted. I can just echo what I just said. I do believe and feel like more of these spaces and these activities make it much easier. Because actually I just texted Travis today morning. There's a friend of ours called Joy.
Mm-hmm.
I think you've seen her in previous episodes. She was talking to someone called Faith Margaret. And as I was telling Joy goodbye, I was telling Joy that I'm going to be in the pod today. And then Faith asked, "Oh, what do I need to do to get into the pod?"
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I have to take your contact. I took her contact, like I gave it to Travis, Mongeze kwa group. And you see, just like that, we have a prospective member who's gonna join the pod soon. You see?
So cool.
Yeah. So like more of these spaces make it easier for someone to like reach out, even if you're like introverted, like being part of a team, like getting to solve. Yesterday we solved some puzzles, makes it like evens the playing field for them to like reach out. So I do believe like this is the proper way to go. And even like youth involvement in church. You see when someone like gets that feeling of community, they'd be so inclined to like take up activities in church, join deaconry, serve, such and such. So I do believe like this is the way to go actually.
Yeah.
I don't think there's another.
It's the way to go. It's the only way. Actually, that's so true. I'd say we've done a lot of, if you're introverted, I feel like my personality type is super weird. I'm a socially anxious extrovert in a sense that like I don't know, I feel like I can interact with people, but I'm like so socially awkward and so like nervous. So for people who knew me before like this group, I was like, I would be in church, yeah, but I was so rattled to even like speak to people. Like I don't know why, but like that's just how I am. New people, the idea of new people, like how you're gonna perceive me, how you're gonna accept me, and that can be such a scary thing. And I'm just gonna say, face your fears head on. Like if you're someone who wants community, honestly, just put yourself out there. Like I didn't really come up to these guys and go, "Hi, can I join Bible study?" No, I just happened to be in church. I was saying hello to people. As scared as I was attending, afternoon sessions. I was sticking around. And that's something I usually tell, like, I think because people have observed me move from being like super socially anxious to now being, more involved in church. Once in a while, I'll get like questions on the side, like, "Oh my goodness, how do I get like involved? How do I And I'll always tell like, to my socially anxious, awkward, whatever, introverts, that just put yourself out there. Like just being present, just being physically in the space will help a million times. Like Faith Margaret is now joining us because she just happened to be in the right place at the right time. And that's exactly how some of us found ourselves here. On top of building community, and I think we've spoken about community very like inward facing, like building it so that you can have community. I think there's a larger purpose when we're gathered here, right? So once you found your community, then there's God's work that you should be doing, right?
Yes.
For us, we've chosen to use this podcast to share our experiences as young Christians and to speak about the word as well, and as young Adventists especially. When you think about purpose in community, what's the purpose of community to you?
It's very important that community has impact. We might measure impact by our human eyes, but impact is impact. In the spiritual world, I'd say like one soul is enough. So I'd go back to the parable where Christ, was it a parable or the prodigal son? It was a parable. No. You know that story is usually very deep if you come to think of it, because there is the son that was lost outside, and there was the son that was lost within
the home.
Yes. Also inside of the community, it is important to cultivate it, to cultivate the relationships daily. Check up on whoever, we are a couple of us, so it's important to check up on whoever. And also there was a story where Jesus Christ was preaching in a house or in a room, And then there were guys who had brought their friend to be healed. I think he was paralyzed or something, right? Yeah, he couldn't come himself. They had to carry him. But then they realized quickly that they couldn't pass through even the door. So they were like, let's find another way. So they climbed at the attic and, well, maybe they didn't have an attic at that time. They climbed on top of the roof and wanted to lower the guy. They even started lowering the guy through the roof. You know, there's something Christ said that was very important. You have been healed, he said to the guy, you have been healed because of the faith of your friends. The friends that are on top there, they're looking down. It is not... Guys, like these friends that they had, this guy had, he was healed because of their faith. And you want to tell me that people who you hang out with is not important? It's very important.
Yeah.
You know, there's just that healing energy that can even come, even just by interaction, you know. And there's a quote that also just comes around the world. You're the sum of the 5 people you interact with the most, you know. Yes, so if you hang around, like, let's say 5 millionaires, you will be the 6th or something, you know. So yeah, I would say it's there's the cultivation aspect of it, and cultivating like it in like spiritual sense. You'll be the 6th spiritual person, you know. So I would say
that's what the purpose of it is to you. And to you, Martin?
So I can say the purpose of community is being there for each other, because it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows for all of us. Like, it gets to times where some of us go through stuff, and like the fact that we can be there for that person during that tough time is a good thing. I feel like that's the purpose of like a community. It's not even the nice days where we go to picnics or stuff, although it's good. But I do feel like the times where we are there for each other, as little as it may be, matters. It matters a lot.
That's beautiful. I think on top of those sentiments, for me, I think one thing that I find very important in community, or have found that through this community, we've really served the purpose of, I think, leading each other towards, or supporting each other in our journeys towards salvation, right? So it's that thing of holding each other accountable. You know, if someone seems like they're segueing, you know, away from what should be the straight and narrow, we hold space for them, pray for them, just help in like beyond just doing the like picnics and the fun stuff and the showing up for each other and being friends. Beyond the camaraderie, there's also an element of caring for one another's spiritual growth, and then there's that element of we also go out there and care for the spiritual growth of others, which I find really, really beautiful. I think when I think of this, I was looking at the Great Commission in Matthew 28, where Jesus says to the disciples, "All authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things that I have commanded you, and lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age." And so I think that's really important, that pursuing of others and bringing them into the fold. And I love that, one, this group is very keen about doing that. And I hope that to all the different, you know, Christian communities out there, you do make that effort to reach out to people, bring them into the fold, help nurture them at their different levels of course, spiritual maturity. Like, don't bring someone into the fold and then tell them, hey, the way you're behaving, you're going to hell. I remember when I was a kid and I first learned about the concept of hell, Nate and I. Bro, and this is in the UK, so these are like foreigners, yeah? So you're Christians in this like very non-religious environment, And then every time someone would do something, I was like, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're going to hell. And like we would
With the accent. You're going to hell?
we'd really be like, yeah, like, you see how you stole that thing, you're going to hell. You see how you said that to tell, you're going to hell. And like we were like, you're going to hell, brother. But like, yeah, that's just like a side note, until we learned that, oh, okay, like, you have to be really kind and tell people, oh, you can improve in this way, or I understand where that's coming from. And but that's just a fun way to think of, yeah, bringing people into fold and helping nurture one another and hold each other accountable. So I think that's mostly the end of our discussion. But as we close off, I'd like each of you to share one thing you're walking away from this discussion with regarding community. One thing you've learned. Maybe we've all shared different sentiments. I feel like we're very aligned. But is there one thing that you've learned here today or will carry with you?
Actually, the last thing that you've said has resonated with me so much, because there is the cultivation aspect of it, and sometimes you might think that we know some things, we might be knowing almost everything, you know. But it takes a lot of also holding the space for somebody, as you said there. You're not bashing people, but you're saying it in a gentle way, which reminds me of the song, Are We Teaching the Truth in Love? That one. I really like it because it says, are we teaching the truth in love, telling it as it is, while holding pure motives and showing that we care? You know? Yeah, so when you said it, I was like, oh, yeah. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Martin?
For me, what I'm getting out of here with is what you just said, that community will not always look for you, but you'll have to be in a space where you can find that community. As much as you have a different personality type, like actively being out there, saying hi to people, getting to know how people are, you know, warms you up to being part of that community. So like being in a space where you're more likely to get good communities is really important. Yeah.
I think the one thing I'll take from this, based on what you guys have shared, is the whole vulnerability element of it, is being able to share. I think I've always been the kind of person who's like, okay, I don't know, I feel like I'm an oversharer, but I'm also the kind of person who feels guilty about burdening people with my problems. But just that sentiment of knowing that one of the measures of community is not just having fun and doing the functional things together, it's also, like we said, holding that space for each other and being there for each other even in the bad times, and which I feel like you guys have done. Even when I haven't given you the full opportunity to, I feel like people really have been very caring. And yeah, I think that's one thing, is learning to open up more with community is something that I will carry with me from this conversation. Well, I think that's the end of today's discussion. Thank you both so much. This was amazing. And I hope, to our listeners, you enjoyed this, and see you next time. Bye.